me, Dana? There. Now can you hear me? I'm so glad you're here to help me through this. Okay. I think what it was doing, I put my phone in the window so we could see what's going on, and it's hanging from the window. And then I'm watching from my tablet because, of course, I can't see the phone that far away. And so I've got the tablet in my lap, but my earbuds was trying to connect to my tablet. So I turned off the Bluetooth on my tablet. And why is that bouncing around? Oh, that may not be stable enough. Oh, that's annoying, isn't it? It might just be this road. Actually, the road's pretty good. I don't know if that's going to work or not. That is terrible. No, is it real noisy, Dana? I wonder. Dana, do you want to come up and then I can just talk to you? Oh, you said it's fine. It's not bouncing around. She says it's not noisy. That's good. The road is really super smooth. I don't know why it's so bouncy on the camera. I think it's just the movement. Yours does not do this. Maybe. Is your camera hooked to the dash when you do it? That's good that it's not noisy, but nobody's going to be able to watch this for very long. They're going to make them sick. Still in my PJs. Good for you. Good for you. I'm going to play with this a little bit since it's probably just you and me on here. Close this down. Yeah, hers is mounted to the dash, so it's more stable that way. Let me just see something. Is that more stable? No, that's actually worse. Oh, wow, there's quite a bit of a lapse. Okay. So this doesn't seem to be quite as bumpity as this. Well, now it seems better. What do you think? Is that better? I think it's better now. I'll just keep an eye on it. Good morning, Dana. How long until you hit the road? Or you said you were on the road already? She is on. Oh, you're driving in your PJs. I love it. Horizontal. Horizontal. Okay, I'll play with it. I've got the what we decided to do, you're right, horizontal would look better. What we decided to do is I've got just this thing hanging down. It connects to the windshield, and then I've got a magnet that connects the phone to the arm, and that's what it's hanging from right now. But like he's got one over there that's hanging horizontal. I might have to steal his because he's got one of those tire pressure monitor things, and it never works. Okay, yeah, that's much better. The picture's much more stable now. Okay, maybe I'll do that then. I'll switch when we. Oh, it is bouncing bad. Man, these things, it's tricky. Everything's so tricky. So we left this morning at 7:25. Our sort of goal was to leave by 7-ish, but 7:25 is pretty good. Normally, getting him to stay until the goal time is tricky. Oh, we got some road construction coming up here. So we got all kinds of vehicles and such. That's funny, the lag on here. Okay, right now we're at the road construction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's about a 5-second lag between what I see and what shows up on the screen. Interesting. Thank you so much for popping in this morning. I really appreciate it. Oh, are you going towards the Idaho area in the next few days? Hi, Tumbleweed. Good morning. We're just now getting this all figured out. Dana's been walking me through everything. Oh, I don't know if it'll show up on the screen. I'll try and turn the screen a little bit so you guys can see what the rig looks like when we're driving down the road and you're coming up on a rig. No, I'm just going to pull this. It's going to be a little bumpy right now so you guys can see. There. Just off in the distance. That's what a rig looks like when you're coming up on one. And that particular rig, almost every day somebody would come to our rig and this is the one they wanted and they were lost. 10 miles different. Yeah, 10 miles down the road. But that's what they look like when you're coming up on one. I'll keep this here. There we go. They all pretty much look the same from the road. Let's see here. See, now that we're not working and we're on public land. Oh yeah, they've got casing trucks all lined up. See, when I'm doing my trucks all day long, that's what they look like. Those casing trucks right there. And that's what the rig looks like. Okay. So that's the excitement of my life for the last year. Let me get you back here where you're a little more stable. There we go. All right. Woohoo! That's the excitement. Hey, Cheryl. It was my fault. The lives were messed up. I, of course, am still trying to figure this stuff out. And the timing was, we're on a real bumpy part of the road. It's going to be bad here for a second. Road construction. There's always road construction here, too. That's the other thing I've learned. The timing was bad because I didn't know exactly when we were going to be pulling out. You know how it is when you're packing and getting ready to go do something. So we were off by just a little bit. And then I started it. And the second I started it, we had a problem here. Something started to tip over. So I stopped it real quick. Well, it completely shut off the live. So then I had to go back in and rebuild the live and get it all going again. And I couldn't remember how to flip the camera around so that we were facing out instead of y'all looking at me. So, of course, the first few minutes were a little interesting. That seems to be the theme from my lives. The first few minutes are always a little interesting. Oh my gosh. And Dana's been walking me through, giving me a few tips. We're going to try and make this a little bit better as we go along. I wonder if, yeah, we're seeing quite a bit of the sky, but we're also seeing the road. That looks pretty good. Where I have the camera is a little far away from where I am sitting, so I can't quite see it well. So I'm watching it on my tablet as well. So that's the only way I can see what's happening on the camera. And those of you that know, I'm having some vision problems, so seeing that far away is not happening. So let's see I can't believe so many of you joined me this morning. So of course we've got Dana in here helping me out, and Tumbleweed joined us. Good morning, Cheryl. Chris, Chris, I'm gonna mess up your last name. Knabel. I'll just say Chris. How about that? Good morning. I love your picture with your little ears. That's adorable. So yeah, we just pulled out of our rig, which we have been parked at since August. We've been following that rig around since August. How's the noise level on this? What route are we taking, Dennis? What road are we on? 285. We are on 285 on our way to, first we're on our way to Guadalupe National Park. Good morning, Roseanne. Thank you for joining us. So we're on the road on the way to Guadalupe National Park. There are 3 national parks in Texas. We have spent the better part of 2 years in Texas and haven't seen a single one of them. No, we should not have to have a cup holder party. We don't have, in an RV, you don't have to stop at truck stops. You don't have to, way stations. You don't have to stop at way stations. So, and I don't have a load to take on and off. So should not have to have a cup holder party today anyway. Now, when we jump over to watch Dana, that's a whole different story. Ooh. Mr. was a truck driver for what, 40 years? 40 years plus. So he knows all the stuff. He knows all the ins and outs. He gets excited when we watch Dana on her lives. He always wants to know where she is, what route is she taking, where's she gonna stop, how's the road. Oh, Dana, Mr. told me that we're gonna have to go down Cabbage, and that scared me. But he said we're going down the bad side, not going up the bad side. I don't like Cabbage, but Cabbage is a fairly steep mountain. Oh, yeah. So the road we're on right now, yeah, Dana, he's a real truck driver, that's for sure. So keeping him off the road early this morning was pretty impressive. Usually if I say we're leaving at 7, at 5, he's chomping at the bit. Let's go. But tell me again the road we're on? 285. So we are on 285 on our way to Guadalupe National Park. And 285, in case you didn't know, is considered the most dangerous road in the whole of the United States. So I was not real interested in hitting the road before it got daylight. I mean, we're not on a tight time schedule. Yeah, this guy in front of us just slowed way down. We passed him earlier. Then he passed us. You know how that goes. We have the same kind of issues. Oh, there's a man camp. So coming up off to your right-hand side, that's a man camp. And they see all those RVs lined up? That's where a lot of the guys go and sleep when they're working on the rigs. They'll put one of their RVs at a place like that, at one of these. It's considered an RV park, but there is nothing to it. So they'll park their RVs in there, and that's where they live while they're working on the rig. The majority of the guys work 2 weeks on and 2 weeks off. And so they'll park there and stay there for their 2 weeks, and then they'll drive home for their 2 weeks. There's another rig up on the left. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. No, I don't think you're going to be able to see it because of the view. But on the right-hand side, you're going to see a big tank. And once they actually have the oil, they store it in these tanks. They pump it. When we get a little closer, I'll explain a little bit better. Oh, it's getting choppy. So there's the smaller tanks first, and that's part of the pumping process. And then they store it in those larger tanks. I was really surprised. Is that our road when we first got here? I was surprised when we got down here and learned how involved the process is. I always thought, you see the pump jacks, which are those little things that pop up and down. That's, in my mind, that was the oil process, and that's actually a very small part of it, and that's actually towards the very end. They don't even really use the pump jacks until the lines itself quit working as well as they want them to, and they kind of use that as an extra suction to pull more stuff out of the ground. So learned an awful lot about the whole oil field process since we were down here. Whoops. So our little rig does not have a huge engine. How big is she? It's got a 350 Cummins? No, Caterpillar. It's a 350 Caterpillar, and it doesn't have as much power as our other one did. The other one could pull us right up the hill. That's the other reason I did not want to go up Cabbage, because the engine isn't real strong in this thing. And so I'm going to try and fix that a little bit. And so the alarm will start going off. It'll start to overheat. It doesn't take much. It does not take much for it to overheat. It cannot do hills at all. And as you can see, this isn't what I would call a hill. We're from Washington State. This is flat as far as I'm concerned. But our little engine considers this a hill. So we spend an awful lot of time listening to that alarm. Can you guys hear the alarm going off? Oh, it just stopped. So as we're going up any sort of a hill, we have to slow way down. And a lot of times we have to pull over and wait for it to cool off a little bit. Tumbleweed, yeah, we have a toad. We pull the pickup, and the pickup is loaded with the Razor. We look like the Beverly Hillbillies driving down the road. Let me tell you, we have so much stuff loaded back there. But he's got it all figured out. He does all the outside. He's got everything strapped down and buttoned down, and just all kinds of stuff in there. So, what did you say? There it is. Dana drives a 7.3 turbo diesel. So she's got some power there. I'm sorry I'm stuffy this morning. I'll be so glad to get out of this dust. Chris, your daughter works in Washington State. Where is she working? What part of the state is she working in? Do you know? She's a traveling nurse. That was actually my dream job. When I worked for the county for 25 years, and when I retired from there, I went back to school, and I wanted to be a nurse. That was what I was going to do. And I didn't think I'd be able to get through. There's a lot of math, and there's a lot of chemistry involved in nursing. And I did not think I'd be able to get through those things. So I changed it up. I still had to take all of the sciences, and I did fine in them. I probably would have. You know, you doubt yourself and you end up losing out on opportunities because of the doubts you put on yourself. And I probably would have been able to get through it. But I ended up going and I got my degree in health information management, which allowed me to work on the road. I did medical coding. And I'll tell you what, peeps, I did medical coding. Many times I was working on the computer as we were driving down the road to get from one place to another. So because of us, and Mr. and I had a long talk about it. And oh, there's quite a few rigs down this road. No wonder they kept getting lost coming to us. There's another one off the road over there. Yeah. So because I didn't give myself credit for my abilities, but I really enjoyed doing medical coding. It was very interesting. There's another kind of a man camp. Those are set trailers where they go in and stay. Oh, that one has a little cafe. That's a real nice one. Oh, that's the gas station. So do you see $5.32 for diesel at that little gas station? $5.32. So that's how I ended up not going into nursing. Became a medical coder instead, so I could work remote and we could go anywhere we wanted. I do not tumbleweed. I don't get out. We don't unhook the chode to go up the hills. We just take it really slow and we pull off and let it cool off. I suppose that would be an option, but it's a lot of work. And I don't even know about driving it once when it's unhooked like that. It would be a pain to do that, I think. But so far, that's not anything we wanted to do. Oh, Chris, Gig Harbor. That is a lovely area out there by the water and stuff. Yeah, that's where we've got a grand that lives out that way. She moved over there. I'm thinking was it last winter she moved over? Yeah, I think it was last winter. She moved over there. She met a boy and moved over there and ended up getting married. And she loves it. They love it over there. They're both going to school over there. So, good morning, KB Fibers. How are you today? Thank you so much for popping in and joining us. We're all just chatting and visiting. We are on the road, and I'll ask you again because I can't remember what road are we on. We're on Highway 285. We are north of Pecos, Texas. The roadway is terrible right here. And we are just seeing what there is to see. I'm pointing out the sights. You can see the landscape out here is absolutely luscious. Okay, maybe not. Lots of sagebrush and dirt is what we have out here. Mesquite, there's a lot of mesquite. It's actually getting a little more vegetation than what we had even 15 miles ago. So we've been on the road for just shy of half an hour. Oh, good. What are you working on, KB? What are you crocheting? Oh, I know. The traffic on that side of the state is horrific. It is horrific. I hate driving over there. You get anywhere near Seattle. You get anywhere near Seattle and I mean, they've got places, it blows my mind. There'll be a drawbridge and you don't know when the drawbridge is going to go up and they'll just pull it up and traffic just sits there, sometimes half an hour, sometimes 2 hours. I don't understand how you can run a road system like that. I mean, and I asked my grand, I'm like, how do you get to school? How do you get to work? And it's like, everybody just knows. You just let them know you got struck behind the drawbridge and it is what it is. It's so funny. The temperature today is, what did we decide? Probably high 80s, possibly 90. Where we're going is a little higher in elevation because it's considered a mountain. I'm quite interested to see what they call a mountain. We're the first stop this morning is, oh, this is mountain right now. The first stop we're going to is Guadalupe National Park, which we've never been to. And so it might be a little on the cooler side than what it was planned to be in Pecos. What I started to say earlier is there are 3 national parks in the state of Texas. We've been here the better part of 2 years and haven't seen a single one of them. Our goal, our goal when we hit the road was to see as many national parks as we could. But you know how it is. Oh, we'll get to it, and then all of a sudden you're leaving. So there's a big national park kind of central and south in Texas. But you know, when it's 4 or 5 hours away, that's not exactly a day trip. And so we ended up not going to that one. And then near us on this side of the state is Big Bend National Park, which of course was 4 hours the other direction. And if gas prices had not have soared, we probably would have taken the road and gone down there. But to add 10 hours out of route and however many hundreds of miles that is, it just wasn't feasible. So we are going to hit Guadalupe National Park, and I think it's about an hour away. Is that 3 rigs in a row? Okay, I'm gonna fuss with the camera a little bit because this is something I want you guys to see. Okay, so we're gonna get bumpy here a second. So over here off to the left, see those 3 towers? Those are natural gas rigs. So not only do they drill for oil out here, they drill for natural gas. And see that flame? I don't know if you can, it's not very high this morning, but that flame is where they burn off excess of natural gas while they're drilling. And we have one of those flames on every rig because you can hit pockets of natural gas anytime you're drilling, and then they have to burn it off. But look how much, look, yeah, when those things start, it's a big boom. Sometimes it'll wake me out of a dead sleep. But look at that. Look at all that machinery and stuff there. That is really interesting. That's a big setup there. Okay, you're going back on the window. Hang on. I know it's bumpy. I'm trying to keep it not bumpy. Dana's giving me some ideas for the camera. Wow, that's a big setup over there. Dana's given me some ideas. I know it keeps going crookedy. I don't know how to get it straighter. So when we stop and rearrange for the next live, then I will try something else with the camera. Oh, there is a store up here in Orlo. Okay, so let's see, where are we at? I'm just bouncing around as we talk because there are a handful of interesting things to see, and I want to make sure and point those out to you. Another man camp. So this is, are we in Orlo, do you think? Yes. So we're in Orlo now, which is, oh, yep, there we are, city of Orlo. This is the big city north of Pecos. It's the next city north of Pecos. Let's see what their fuel prices are. They've got tanks here. When the guys get, if anybody has to go to the hospital, not hospital, if they have to go to the doctor, this is turning lane, then this is where we send them, is up to Orlo. 409 for unleaded, 535, 541 for diesel. Yikes. That's at the Pilot. Yep. And okay. Oh, so the city's more off to the left. Oh, this is a big, nice looking truck stop. They've got an ice machine there, water. This is the kind of places where Dana would spend the night. So about another 30 miles or so to our first location today. Okay, let's see. Chris, yeah, Seattle's a nightmare. The toll road. Oh, I know. Do they have, she must have a toll tag where she can't. I know in Texas they have the tolls everywhere, and you can get a Texas toll tag, and you prepay. I sent them, I don't know, I sent them like $50 because now that we're on this side of the state, there's not many tolls. But I would send them like $50, and you get a little bit of a discount if you use the toll tag. And then I would get a notice when it was getting low, so I could put another $50 on there. But those tolls, they will eat you alive. So wow, $7.50 a day. That's steep. That is steep. Tumbleweed. Oh my gosh, high 20s. Oh, that's right. You're in Saskatchewan. We had snow at home yesterday, the last 2 days. I'm like, you guys, you keep saying you want me to come home, and then you tell me there's something like snow. Okay, on your right, there's a pump jack. You'll start seeing those pretty much everywhere. And when you see them, you see they're not running. I was surprised at how many of them are not actually doing anything. They'll pump for a while, however long, I mean months, and then they'll quit. They won't get any more oil while they're pumping. And then they get on a schedule for them to, it's like they sleeve it, they rework it somehow, and then they'll start up again. And then sometimes they just get abandoned and they just sit there. They never get used again, and they just sit there, and they're everywhere. So yeah, I was not real excited when they told me there was snow at the house. It snowed, what day is it? Okay, this is Monday. I'm gonna have to start getting used to knowing what day it is, aren't I? So it snowed Saturday and it snowed Sunday in Washington. Now that's also something you don't typically get over on the other side where your daughter is in the Gig Harbor area. You're not, if you're getting snow, it's an event. So there's not a lot of snow going on. But I think, didn't they get it last year when we had that horrible storm at home? I think so. I think they got some last year. But high 20s. One of our bosses on the rig is from Saskatchewan, and I just said goodbye to him. And he flies down every 2 weeks. He drives to the airport. It's about hour and a half drive to the airport out of Midland, and then he flies home to Saskatchewan. I think that's interesting that they go that far. Ohio, it's 48 and thunderstorms. Wow. We had terrible windstorms. Well, and you guys on the lives have seen some of my windstorms, and they have been, I mean, and even yesterday while Mr. was outside trying to get things locked down and packed up, and the wind was blowing so bad, there was so much dust, you couldn't even see the road. And, you know, we were 50 feet. I don't know, how long is a semi? Yes. No, a semi. How long? 65. So we were no more than 100 feet from the road and could not see the road because of the dust. It was absolutely horrible. And he's out there working in it. Oh, big bump. 48 degrees. Oh. So Dana's on the west side of the Rockies, and she says the sun is coming up. Wow. Don't go home till June. Yeah. Yep. 2 in and 2 out. 2 and 2. That's correct. We have what I learned from the rig that we were on is the guys that actually work for the rig company, they work 2 and 2. Every once in a while, they'll ask someone to work over. One of the guys worked over 5 days this time. If somebody, you know, if we lose a worker or someone gets sick, they'll ask someone to stay over. But boy, it's almost like clockwork. And they, in fact, they've got a calendar. and everybody can look at the calendar online, and you can schedule a year out and know what your days off are going to be. You know what your holidays are going to be. It's 2 and 2. And then I have found that the company man, who is actually a different company than the guys that work on the rig, they were working 2 and 2, and then they switched their schedules, and so they were working 20 and 10. So they were working 20 days on and 10 days off, and they did that since about Christmas time. And just now, just this week, they're switching them back to 14 and 14, the 2 on 2 off. So theirs was a little different. And then there's all the vendors, what I call vendors. They've got the mud guys, they've got what we call the backyard guys. They work with the solid waste, they work with the heavy mud and stuff. And the guys that actually, they're called the directional drillers, and they actually maneuver the giant bits that are going into the ground that are doing the actual drilling. And they all work different schedules. Some of the guys will work 20 days on and 10 days off. We had one guy, I don't think he ever went home. He worked the entire time they were drilling. He worked there for like 3 months, and he never went home. And then, yeah, he hardly even left. He hardly went to town. He didn't do anything. In fact, at one point, we had a PO box, and he would have his medicine sent to our PO box because he couldn't even leave to go get his medicine picked up. So it was, they work all different schedules. And then of course us, we never leave. You know, we started the beginning of August, and we took days off in March, a couple of weeks, and it was like pulling teeth to get that time off. So everybody works different schedules out here. It's quite an interesting life for these guys. Hey, Marabella's Hook. Good morning. I'm just chatting along. Oh, I smell. No, heat. Oh, did you turn that? Okay. Stephanie, good morning, Stephanie. I don't think I said hi to you. So we've got, Dana is giving us tips on how to make all this stuff work as we're driving down the road. We are on our way to Guadalupe National Park. There's not a lot to do at Guadalupe. We can't drive on any of the roads. It's mostly hiking, and I think there's dry camping there. So there's not going to be a lot for us to see. We'll see what we can see. We will go in, if there's a little visitor center, we'll go into the visitor center. The way we've been doing national parks all across the country is seeing what we can see as we drive through. If we happen to be staying in the area, we would drive the truck through. But if not, we drive the RV through, which means it doesn't always happen. But we try to hit all the visitor centers and get a little stamp. They've got what they call a passport book, and you get your passport book stamped. And of course, I never have my actual book with me. In fact, I think it's at home in Washington. I think one of the times we went home, I left it there. And so you just get a little piece of paper stamped, and then I tape them into my little passport book when we get home. And then I try to buy a sticker from each one of the national parks. Some of them have a big sticker if it's a big name, like Yellowstone. They've got a whole sheet. But some of these small ones, they don't even have a sticker. So that's kind of how we handle the national parks when there's nothing there that we can physically do. Oh, Stephanie, Dana wants you to behave. Is that something that's not going to actually happen? Dana, where are you driving up to today? Does anybody have a project they're working on? I know KB said she was. Now, I'm not sure I, I saw what you said, but I didn't understand it, and then I didn't mention it. You said you're working on a test pattern. Oh, you're testing a pattern. Oh my Lord. I need to get around people more often. You said a test pattern for Dana. And my mind went, and probably not everybody even remembers these. Do you remember when TV used to actually go off at night? What was it, 2 in the morning? It would go off midnight, 2 in the morning. And they would put a test pattern on the TV. And it was a black and gray pattern. And it kind of had beams going out from the center. So when you said test pattern, that's where my mind went, which is funny because I haven't seen one of those in decades. But oh, good Lord, I'm showing my age now. So yes, she's testing a pattern for Dana. Got it. Now I'm with it. Yeah, I don't get out much, people. Oh my Lord. So okay, so you're testing that. And good Lord. Stephanie, good. We need a rebel. I need rebels in my groups as well. So Dana is up on I-70 over the Rockies going into Denver. So you're the other direction from us. Chris, you're working on spring cardigan from Cinnamon Stitches. So yeah, Mister says you're going up a big mountain. The spring cardigan, I can't remember which one that is. I love Cinnamon. I watch all of her videos. The spring cardigan. Is that one that she did during premiere week? Oh, amigurumi, man. I don't even know if it counts as amigurumi. I made a lovey. Is that what they call them? Those little square things that you give to the babies? And funny thing is, so I make this lovey for a baby, and the head part of it is Batman. And of course, it's not done. And I got to. Did I start at it seems like I got most of the little bits done, and I need to put the safety eyes in it, and that's as far as I got. And it's actually it's for the granddaughter that lives in Gig Harbor that just got married, but she's a Batman freak, big time. She is such a Batman freak that for their wedding, and I'm talking, this is as low-key as a wedding gets. It was super sweet though. They got married on the beach in a little tiny cove near their house, near where they live with his parents. And they both wore jeans and a Batman sweatshirt. So this is how low-key this wedding was. And it was fabulous. It was absolutely wonderful. So I made this little lovey for her, which of course is in a box at home because it's not finished, with my other 10,000 whips. Would you say, mister? She's 20. Yeah, she's like 24, and Batman is still her thing big time. And he's into dinosaurs, so I got to figure out a dinosaur thing. But the amigurumi, man, it scares me, all those little pieces. And I did make it was a cup cozy, and it had a dog head on the front of it. And I think that counts as amigurumi. I don't know what the actual rules are to make it count. Oh, more road construction. What a surprise. So an elephant. Interesting. Cheryl, you remember the test patterns? Yeah. Now, Cheryl, please forgive me. I know you're not in the United States. And I still, man, Cheryl, you guys, Cheryl helped me out so much with the hat that I knit for the test pattern, the pattern that I tested for Connie at Just Another Stitch. I did that hat, the candy cane hat, and it was, oh my gosh, what was the style? You carried the stitches along the back with you, and boy, she helped me out a lot with that. So you're making the flat bottom shawl from Amber. And whoops, sorry, super noisy right now. We'll get through this part. Yeah, on the road, so we're going over the rumble strip. When we get past this big talk more. And I just want to do them all. I just want to do them all. And then over at My Precious Yarnery, she's got that cocoon shawl that I want to make. And Charmed Grammy Crochet is going to do a tutorial for oh, this is terrible. It's a little bit more, so I'm just going to quit talking. Okay, should be a little better here. Charmed Grammy Crochet said she's going to do a tutorial on a Ruana, and I don't know why I am on a Ruana kick. I haven't made one yet, but I keep thinking that. And oh, this is terrible, this road. And I think the Ruana is because it's basically just a big old blanket you wrap around your shoulders. And so I think that's why I'm loving them so much. Because you know me and blankets. But yeah, I love that flat bottom shawl. And okay, so that is one of the, oh, it's getting bad again. Okay, here we go. That was one of the things from Premiere Week. I know there was 2 or 3 things that she made on Premiere Week that I want to do. Which yarn are you using? Are you using the yarn that she suggested or that she tried out? Big Mountain through Eisenhower Tunnel later today.
Oh, she ain't at the top. That's at the very top.
Yeah, that's what she said. Dana said to tell you her trailer is 13 feet 6 inches.
Oh, that's a good size trailer.
So, what do you know what you're hauling today, Dana? Oh yes, Fair Isle. Thank you, Cheryl. You know, I don't know. Well, as you guys know, I often don't know what I'm talking about. I have a terrible, terrible memory, and I'll want to talk about something, and it's like my brain just blocks what I'm talking about. And it's like the other day, Cheryl, when I was trying to thank you on the video for your help, and I could not. I could see your little symbol. I could see your little flower in my head, but the name was not popping in. And that'll happen to me often. So when I know I'm going to mention somebody, I'll write their name down on a note. And because there's a 50-50 or less chance that I'm going to remember the name when I'm deciding to talk about something. Now there's another oil rig on the right-hand side, but I think it's going to be too far off to the right to see on camera. Yeah, I know, but it keeps flipping. I can't get it to stay. We'll have to play with it a little bit when we stop. What? I can't. I can't change it. That's where the magnet is, and it keeps flipping sideways. Oh. Hi, good morning. How It's strange to be leaving. We've been sitting with this same rig with the same group of guys since the first week of August. And so this is certainly bittersweet. We're happy to be going home. And boy, do we have a lot of work ahead of us when we get home. We're happy to be going home, and we're happy to finally get started with that part of stuff. I don't know how much you guys remember when we decided to come down here last summer. It was kind of quick. You had to go through a process to get certified, to get licensed. But once you're ready, they're like, okay, can you be down here Thursday? And we're like, ah. So we literally bought a house last summer. We had a week to move into the house and try to get a few things unpacked. We stayed in the house for 3 nights and then hit the road for Texas. So all of our stuff is in boxes at home. So I still have my whole house to unpack, and then all the stuff that you have to do to a new house when you buy it, because even though it looks great, there's still a ton of stuff to do. But so the money that we earned while we were down here, we socked it right into savings, lived off of our Social Security down here, and that money is going to allow us to do the things to the house we want to do. The yard is a nightmare. The lady that owned it before us was a little old lady in her 80s. She had a caregiver with her. The yard it was a year of not being taken. So everything is dead. We don't even know. It's got a sprinkler, but we don't even know. So we got to that'll be one of the first things is check out this. Of course, if it's still snowing, checking out the sprinkler system might not be the first thing. But so the yard, front, back, everything, the yard is dead. So that's a huge project. The house needs to be painted. That's a huge project. And then there's a whole bunch of little projects inside the house that I want to do. And there's some things that were kind of odd. Like several of the cupboards don't have doors on them. And the sink in the master bathroom, and I say master, this is a tiny little house, you guys. This is a 1,200 square foot house. So the bathroom sink doesn't have any cabinets underneath it. There's very, very little storage in the whole house. So then we figured out the husband had been in a wheelchair. So everything is set so that he could easily move around. And they took there's no and they had the house built, custom built. So the sink is very, very shallow, so he can reach in. And the doors are off the cabinets, so he could get inside the cabinets. And there's nothing underneath the sink in the bathroom, so he could park the wheelchair under there. So that's great. Everything is very accessible. Everything is on one level. There's no stairs. There's 2 steps getting from the laundry room to the garage. But if you go around the front, and it's got French doors. So there's great big openings, which made it nice when we were trying to move in. But so we're on the way home, tons and tons of work to do when we get there. So it's a good thing for us to be going home. Oh, there's the grocery store coming up.
Nice.
Yeah. Curio shop, large. Oh, that's funny. We're not even near the caverns yet, and there's probably a big I can't think of the name of the little store in entrance. It's the store I'm thinking of. White City, yeah, that's the city outside of the caverns. You go through it. Oh, there's a pump jack that's actually moving. So we're not too far from the caverns at this point. So yeah, so that's the dealio. We're leaving the rig and going home to do a whole lot of work. I see a whole summer full of work ahead of us, and then some. Okay, Spiffy Ruru. This must be something that we say, Dana, huh? Kathy, good morning. Angela's new shrug. Isn't that gorgeous? That's going to have to move to the top of my list, I'm afraid. I saw that, Angela from My Precious Yarnery. I saw that hanging on her mannequin. I can't remember her mannequin's name. Oh, is cinnamon? No, it's something to do with cinnamon. But I saw that hanging on there for a couple of days and she wasn't talking about it. And I kept going, I want to see the shrug. I want to see the shrug. And now she's doing a tutorial. So what yarn are you using to make it with? Switching to a knit hat. KB, you're like me. Mandala Baby in Magic Moon. That's going to be beautiful, Chris. Oh, Dana's pulling a load for Harbor Freight. I like Harbor Freight. I just have run into a string of videos, and of course, I don't know who they're from. If I can find out who did them, I'll put a link down in one of my upcoming videos. But she's doing Harbor Freight hauls, and I bet if you look up sewing items at Harbor Freight or craft items at Harbor Freight, something like that. And I don't know if you guys can see off to the right, that's called, we call that a flare. And that's a pretty big one. And that's where they're burning off the natural gas as they're pumping. So in one of my videos, we were about, 30 feet from that flare. And I was scared the whole time we were parked there. I was terrified. But the actual flare did not go on that many times that we were parked there. But they get big. They get so hot, you can feel the heat on the rig. Those are scary. Those things can blow up. They can explode. Again, if I can find, there's a couple videos out there of them on fire. If I can find any of them, I'll attach them to one of my future videos and I'll let you know. Oh, yeah. Mr. took one at night of it being really tall. Yeah, it was 2 miles away and it was humongous. So the Harbor Freight video, this gal goes in and she finds all these little doodads that you use in crafting, but they're at Harbor Freight. So instead of paying a $20 craft store price, you're paying $2 hardware store price. And there were some real good ideas in there. There's a few things that I plan on picking up. But she did a sewing one. She did a craft one. She did 3 or 4 of them. I don't remember. And a couple of the things were repeats. Getting a tarp, getting one of them was one of those expandable. It's like an expandable thingy, and there's a magnet on the end to pick up stuff that you had dropped, like pins and things that maybe you dropped. Different stuff like that. So it was worth watching. Even if I only got one idea out of each one of the videos, it made me think of some things that, magnets. I know I've got an idea for some magnets I want Mr. to make up for me. And I'm like, that's where I can go to get the magnets. Oh, look at the cute little houses. Some more. I know. That's about the size of the one we're getting, isn't it? Without the porch. Oh, there's another pump jack over there. Interesting. Oh, Kathy, I just can't wait to see your shrug. I really, really want to make that. What else we got? Roseanne, hello. Good morning. Everybody saying hi to everybody. I just love that. I love the Yarny community, and I love that no matter what your interests are, you're welcome in. I have met in parentheses, met some of the most amazing people, Dana being one of them. Okay, Tumbleweed. Oh, thank you so much. I'm going to be doing different lives. As we stop at the different places, I'll stop the lives, I think, and then maybe start them up again. I don't know. I know you're limited to the number of hours you can do a month on here. I've got about 15 hours left. So if I run out of hours on StreamYard, I'm going to run my live through YouTube. Oh, look at this little rock house coming up. Interesting. So I'll run my lives through YouTube, which I don't know how to do because I've never done. Oh my gosh, you guys. I tried to do a little quick live the other day, just a little 2-minute one. What a joke. I couldn't find the turn off button. And so it was awful. It was awful. So then I had to stumble around and figure out how to get back on there and shut the thing off and delete the live from the stream. This is a little town. These are what the little towns look like that we drive through around here. They are not much, let me tell you.
Look at the nice house.
So, historical marker ahead. Magdala, something like that is what it said this was. So we'll see you in a bit, Tumbleweed. Driving and listening. Cheryl, we are, in theory, we're home for good. We have been on the road for 4 years, and I started spazzing out about a year ago because we did not have a home base. And when those of you who RV, even if you just have a little trailer that you go out in a few weeks a year, know that something is always broken. And when you full time and live in an RV and something is broken, it can take weeks. And I mean 10, 12, 15 weeks to get things fixed, to get into a repair shop and to get something fixed. A lot of it is they're waiting on parts. A lot of it is, even though, like last summer, I made an appointment. So last year we were driving down the freeway in Phoenix, Arizona, and the awning literally ripped off the side of the RV, 20-foot awning, and flew behind us, landing in the middle of the freeway. Thank God there was a big truck behind us, not like Dana's truck, but like a big service truck. Not just a pickup. Oh, it's going to get real noisy right here.
Like a delivery truck.
Oh. But yeah, like a delivery truck. So thank God there was a big truck behind us. So he was able to swerve a little bit. He ran over it, but it didn't hurt him. It didn't bother him. And then by the time we figured out where it was, we were a mile down the road, but I could see him park, get out of his truck, and pull the thing off to the side of the road. So that started the saga of the awning. And we knew we were on our way home. And that was probably in early March, I think it was. So I made an appointment the first week of May. In fact, it was Cinco de Mayo. It was May 5th. I made an appointment at the RV place. They knew what kind of RV we had. They knew what kind of awning it was. Yes, precious Jen. They knew what kind of an awning it was. They knew what we needed. Of course, they did not order anything until we got home. We take it in, and they're like, okay, well, you need this and this and this. And then we have to deal with insurance, and then we have to order parts. We didn't get the awning on until August. Literally picked it up the day before we left to come down here. And that's the kind of stuff you deal with when you're having RV repairs done. And of course, it's worse now trying to get parts for stuff. And while the RV is in the shop, the windshield got busted. So, of course, we couldn't prove the windshield got busted while it was in the shop because nobody thought to take a picture of the windshield as it's going in to get worked on because there's nothing wrong with the windshield. So why would we take pictures of it? And he didn't notice the crack in the windshield until he had pulled out from the RV repair place,
Because it's
and
right
then because it's right up next to the divider thing, right by the windshield wiper. And so it wasn't until the sun hit it, he was about 2 blocks away, and then the sun hit it, he saw the crack, turned around, immediately went back, and they're like, nope, you can't prove we did it. So the insurance will cover it, but down here in Pecos, there's no place to get it worked on. And so then we have the deductible for that, and we'll have to order glass. Glass can take 6 months to get. So we didn't dare order it while we were down here, because you never know where we were going to be. So long story long, we bought a house. And because we bought the house, there's a bunch of work and stuff I want to do to the house. And I'm ready to stay stable for a little while. I can't see us doing any traveling this summer. I mean, not even, I mean, maybe a weekend we're tossing around going somewhere for 4th of July weekend. We'll be ready for a break by then. So we'll see about that. There's a campground just out, 10 minutes from town that we like to go to. And we're a member there, so it doesn't cost us anything to go there. So we might do that. We'll see. But for sure, no big trips planned this year and nothing planned for next year. But I'll tell you what, a winter at home might change my mind on all of that too. Because, that's kind of what got us out on the road in the first place was
I can't stand it anymore.
Mr. wanted to
camera and you won't do it.
hold on.
This is the one it rolls.
Mr. wanted to do something, so we had to stop here for a second. So he wanted to be able to drive around and actually see some things. And Dana will confirm this. You put a lot of miles on the road when you're driving a truck, but unless it's just off the freeway, you don't really get to see anything. And you're always on a time schedule, and you're always dealing with being en route. You can't just go traversing the countryside, burning up the company's fuel. So you don't ever actually get to see much. So there was a bunch of places he wanted to go see, and I wanted to be away from the cold. And that's what got us on the road to start with. And we did get to see a lot of stuff, but I'm ready to stay put for a while. So for at least until next spring, we're staying at home. We'll see what next spring brings. Thank you. That was a great question. I appreciate it. Oh. Yeah, internet's always terrible. We're in the middle of nowhere. We're north of Pecos. We're on our way we just took the turn off to go to Guadalupe National Park. And a lot of the national parks don't have any reception at all. If you guys ever get to go visit Yellowstone, you may as well throw your phone in a drawer, because the second you hit the entry, there's no reception. And the same at, what's the national park down in Florida? Do you remember? The Everglades. It's like a switch that just turns off. And that was mine. Verizon did not work at all there, but his AT&T worked fine. That's the other thing we learned traveling. Different reception works in different places. So at one point, we both used to have AT&T. At one point in Arizona, it was real bad for AT&T. So I had to cancel AT&T on my phone, and I picked up Verizon. So between the two of us, we pretty much always have internet, one or the other. But the internet that's being used for the live is his AT&T. So if it doesn't work, we don't have reception. I'm flipping through the comments to see what Lakeside beanie hat. Oh, Terry, I'm interested to see what that looks like. Drinking my coffee. It's kind of nice to not have to run out and get into the dirt every few minutes. Yes, Precious. That's what Angela's mannequin is called. Precious Jen. Precious Jen. Thank you, Chris. We'll see you later. I hope that we'll catch you on one of the other lives that we're going to be doing. So you're using, Kathy, you're using the Premier Chunky Bamboo. Ooh, aqua. I bet that's going to be gorgeous. Does she give you sizing structure? I love the way she does her patterns. They're so, here, just do this and this. And if you want it this big, just make it this much wider. That's the way I like to work on a pattern. I have not made, other than the sweater for my grandson, I really haven't made anything very fitted because I don't want to spend a month or 2 months working on something and then not have it fit well. Wow. So that's one of the reasons I like the idea of the cocoons. And you just kind of make it as big as you want it. That's definitely, and bamboo yarn is gorgeous to work with. I have a work in progress. I'm trying to think, what was it? I have a whip in the back of a sweater that I'm making from a crochet along last year. And I used the Truboo, Truboo, I think that's the one I'm using with it. And it just feels glorious. Just glorious to work with. Oh my gosh, Dana, your truck just hit 200,000 miles. Wow, that's a lot of miles. You haven't been driving that long. You've been driving about 4 years, if I remember correctly. Have you had the same truck? Have you had the same truck the whole time you've been driving? Because I know you changed companies, so I don't know if you are using their truck or your own truck. Oh, good, Terry. Scrap yarn. I think you guys saw just a couple videos ago, I got that tangled box. That, boy, was it tangled. It's a mess. What's over there? Mountains. There's mountains in the horizon, or a hill. Wow, that must be Guadalupe. That's the closest thing that we've seen to a mountain in the better part of a year. That is nice. Yeah, you're on your way to the Million Mile Club there, Dana. Gives you the multiples. Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely okay. Dana drives the company's truck. So you've got 200,000 since you've been with this company. That is something. Wow, look at that, you guys. There's mountains. Oh, there's a hill. We're going down a hill. Whee! This is something. Oh, big bump, big bump. Stuff falling out of the sky here. Wow. I'm just, there's, oh, look, there's what are those Joshua trees? Are those Joshua trees? There's some Joshua trees. There's a lot more foliage than there was even an hour ago. Oh, so it's getting close to 9. So we've been on the road just over an hour, coming up on an hour and a half. I think we pulled out at 7:25. Good morning, Amber. Yeah, Amber, we are, oh, my, I can't keep my phone straight. So we got some crookedy driving going on here. My phone is hanging from a magnet from the windshield, and it just will not stay straight no matter what I do. So I keep fussing with it, and it keeps just going back doing exactly what it wants to do. When we stop, we're going to be stopping in not too long. We're just about to Guadalupe National Park, and in theory, there are some mountains there. But I'm starting to see some hillage. We have been on flat land for a year, so this little bit of hills is pretty cool. Yeah, I remember that you're working and lurking. And so kind of what we're going to do this morning, or what we're doing this week, is I'm going to be using up my hours on StreamYard, and then I'm going to try to figure out how to do a live on YouTube. And maybe if there's somebody who has done a YouTube live and can give me a few hints, I'm going to be trying to figure that out. So we're headed off to, this is the first of 2 national parks today. And once we get there, I was just trying to figure out how to handle it. I think I'll shut this live off when we get there and get things figured out, figure out if we can go inside, what we can see. I know we can't drive around. I don't know what they've got for a visitor center. So sometimes these national parks, we literally go into the parking lot, go into the visitor center, get our passport stamp for having visited the national park. That's just something we collect, and we leave again. And that's the extent of visiting the national park. So that may well be what this one is. But throughout the week, as we're traveling and seeing all these different things, then we'll be just doing different lives, seeing different kinds of stuff, and you guys can just pop in and out and visit. It's been wonderful visiting with people this morning, seeing what everybody's working on. Okay, I'm jumping up here, and yeah, let's see if I gotta plug this in. There we go. Yeah, no, that doesn't work for my phone. Is it plugged in on your side? No, this one never works for my phone. I've got one over here. Get this baby some juice so we can keep running. There we go. Now it's plugged in. Oh, I thought Dana used StreamYard. Okay. So if you guys remember, I got that great big pile of nasty tangled up yarn, and I just barely have started working on untangling it. So that's kind of my goal for while I'm driving. I have a hard time crocheting while we drive. And so, but I think I could work on untangling that mess. So I've got that bag of yarn sitting at my feet. Black River Retreat and Conference Center. That's quite a retreat there. You see some real interesting things while you're driving around. Amber, I don't know if you know, one of the ladies on here this morning is making one of your projects, and I'm scrolling back through the messages. She's making your flat bottom shawl. I remember that. There it is. Oh, it's Cheryl Wall. Ha, right there. So Cheryl's making one of your projects right now, Amber. I was just telling her that there's so many different projects and so many things people are coming out with. My to-do list just gets longer and longer and longer. But once I get this horrible mess of yarn untangled, I figured out what I'm going to do with it. And I'm excited. Oh, there's greenery. You guys, look. It's green. Wow. Oh my gosh. Are those cows? There's cows. Wow. You can tell I've been in the desert too long. Wow. I can't believe it. We saw grass. Woohoo! We saw grass.
Hey, yeah,
Is it hay out there? So there's something growing. There's something
alfalfa.
growing. Alfalfa, Mr. Things. Look at that. I can't believe it. Oh, that's right. Cheryl's writing up your pattern. I remember now. Big bump coming. Oh, so we just saw a sign that said open range, could be cows on the road. Cows, look at this. Hills and foliage and greenery. I told you we'd see greenery and trees today, Max. I told you. That's right. So you don't write patterns. I can't remember, Amber. I can't remember if you read patterns. I think you do. I think you do. I'm sorry. It's terrible. My memory is terrible. I am so impressed with you guys that that can do these tutorials and write patterns and come up with ideas. The only the only way I'm ever coming up with an idea is when I mess up a pattern so bad it doesn't look anything like what I was trying to make. So that's the closest as to creating a pattern as I'm ever going to get. But it's funny, since I've been crocheting so much this last year, I've gotten to where a lot of times I can look at a pattern and I can say, okay, I know what stitch that is, and I don't know what that stitch is. And just by looking at the stitch work, I can decide if this is going to be something I'm going to be able to do. And as long as the pattern is written well, I'm not going to have any problem with it. And I'm really appreciative of that skill that I've developed, because I'll tell you what, in the past, I can't tell you how many times I've picked up a pattern and said, yep, I'm going to make this. And then I get so lost in it. And it's discouraging when that happens. Not only are you wasting your time, but it's frustrating and it's demoralizing. You feel like, man, I've been crocheting my whole life and I can't make this simple thing. But I've also have decided to give myself way more leeway in life. Oh, there's a lone cow over there in the field. Yeah, there's some flowers. Nice. But I've started giving myself a little more grace, and not all patterns are written well, and not all designs are meant to be for me. And just because I think I want to make something doesn't mean it's going to happen. And to enjoy the process. The process of creating is a big part, I think, of what we do and what we enjoy. Just like the process of flipping through patterns and the process of looking at yarn and feeling at yarn, and because yarn is yummy, and trying to decide what yarn will work for what process and what project. That's all part of our craft. And I'm much more laid back now and enjoying all the aspects of the craft instead of being so hard on myself. Oh, this is funny. So the name of this road that we're coming up on right now is National Park Highway. So Carlsbad is 15 miles that way. We are doing a little bit of backtracking on this leg of the trip in order to pick up both national parks, but it wasn't so much that Mr. couldn't stand to be out of route that much.
And they had the road that we wanted to be on blocked off.
Oh, I wondered why we took that side road. So the main road going to this park, which we would not have had to backtrack, there was road construction and it was blocked off, so we couldn't get there. Oh, man. I'm talking so much, my mouth is getting really dry today. I'm drinking my coffee. Oh, Mister's got a peppermint. I don't know if peppermint and my coffee will go together, though. So I'm still working on that bag of horrible, nasty protein powder, the never-ending. If this is something I liked, it would have been gone a long time ago. I use 1 scoop every morning in my coffee, And oh, there's a casing truck, and it gives me 30 grams of protein. It gives me some, and I can't remember how much. It gives me a goodly amount of calcium, which I'm terrible at taking pills, so I never get my calcium on board. And I figure it's fairly low in calorie and fat, and I figure it's just a good way to start the day. At least start with a good base. And I've been doing it for about 5 years, and it's just such a habit now. Well, I usually use the Premier shakes, but I had bought a bunch of these. They're a little cleaner. They're powdered. They're a little cleaner, and but they don't mix well in heat. So I take the leftover coffee out of the pot every day, put it in the refrigerator, and then the next morning I put that in the bottom of my cup, put the powder in, whip it up a little bit, and then add my hot coffee to it, which is kind of nice because it cools the coffee. The coffee is too hot out of the pot right off for me to drink. So it cools the coffee down a little bit for me to drink. And the problem is this particular flavor is called coconut, and I love coconut. So I thought it would be wonderful. I hate it, but it's too expensive to throw away. It's like $30 a bag. And it says it's 20 servings, but you guys, I feel like I've been drinking on this for 3 months. And I know I haven't. I know I haven't. But and I'll finish it this week. There's when I pulled my scoop out this morning, there's 3 or 4 scoops left. So I'll finish it this week, and then usually I would just grab the next bag out of the box, but I'm gonna pick something next time that sounds really good. I see something chocolate in my future, but it's healthy, it's good for me, and I'll muddle through it. So that's what I'm drinking this morning, my coffee with my yucky protein shake in it. Oh, okay. So yes, she's writing your pattern. You can read patterns, Amber. Oh, good morning, Popeye. How are you guys? We are driving down the road in the wilds of Texas. We are about an hour. We are about an hour north of Pecos. Well, hour and a half at this point, north of Pecos. It's 8 o'clock here. We left at 7:25. Oh yeah, here's these big hills. So here goes the buzzer on our engine again. It can't stand these hills. But we've had some super exciting things. We've seen grass and we've seen greenery. We've seen stuff actually growing. We saw some cows. We saw some hills. So super exciting for us that have been in nothing but dirt for the last year. Saw some yucca plants, which, by the way, guys, don't ever put a yucca in your yard. It will take over, and you will never ever get rid of it. Oh, so Margaret, going on a road trip. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, when it's something you don't like, it seems like it's never ending. Hi, Spring. Good morning. Thank y'all for joining us. We got a few new people joining us. I am taking over. I am taking over YouTube. Apache Canyon Trading Post. Yeah, you guys will definitely see things here. It's closed. You will definitely see things in the neighborhood we're in. You're going to see things that are not politically correct, just so you know. We are on our way to, we're going to see 2 national parks this morning. We are on our way to the Guadalupe National Park, which is, its big thing is the Guadalupe Mountains. And there's a lot of hiking and there's a lot of that kind of stuff, which we don't do. We're not hikers. And so, we're coming up on White City. We'll hit White City again on the way back, going up to Carlsbad. You go through White City to get to Carlsbad, and then you go through it again on the way back from Carlsbad. Oh, there's donkeys. So there's a tourist center. I don't think this is where we're going. Oh, we're getting fuel. All right, our first fuel stop. So now I have to, we're going to pause the narrative here while we do gas because I got to move some things around. So you guys talk amongst yourselves. This is the equivalent of going into the cup holder for Dana. We're not actually putting you in the cup holder, but there's going to be a lot of activity here. So I'm not going to be chatting. Whoops. I'm going to go through the windshield is what I'm going to do. I got to move some things. No, do the dogs need to go out or not? It's only been an hour. I don't think we'll let the dogs out here. Okay. In fact, you guys, I'm going to turn off my camera because I'm going to try to fiddle around with this view a little bit and see if I can't get it set up a little bit better. So I'm going to pause me, but I think you guys are still going to be able to chit chat among yourselves. So I'm going to pause the camera and the mic. I will be back in just a few minutes. If anybody else comes on, just let them know we're paused. See you in a bit. Camera. Is that view better, you guys? What do you think about that? I don't know if it'll stay like that. I'm trying to get it set, but I think as soon as it gets bumpy, I think we're going to lose. I think it's going to fall down as I think what's going to happen. Nope, I don't like that. Don't like that. Whoa, it's really out of focus. That's because it's focusing on the thing. Well, that's not going to work. Try over. Yep, still not gonna work. Man, I am trying to get this thing so we can turn it sideways and get a better view. And no matter what I do, I've got it set sideways, but now it just keeps seeing the thing I've got it hooked to the window with. Do over. All right, we are back. Get my seatbelt on. And going around the corner. Oh no. Yeah.
Okay. Like
So here we go. On the road. It's not kicking in yet. It should be any second. There we go. Now I can see it. Okay. So, yeah, that's Carlsbad that way. We're going this way. This is a cute little town. I mean, it's definitely 100% tourist. That's the only thing they have here. But they've got some cute little things. We'll look at it a little bit more when we come back by this way. So whenever we stop, just like when Dana stops, we do a walk around and check everything out. He always checks out the outside of everything. I check out the inside of everything. There was a strap that was loose on some stuff in the back, so outside, so he fixed that. Guadalupe Mountains National Park headquarters, 35 miles. 35 miles. And then, well, that's weird. State line, 16 miles. And so he fixed the strap that had come loose on the back. And you know, that's the thing. You can check all that stuff, and 20 minutes later, something will come done. So that checks all the time. Really tight here when we have the slides all in. I can barely get through. And then Max is not a good rider. He does not like driving in the RV. He does not like as soon as we turn the engine on, even if it's just turning on to check something, he runs and hides in the back. Well, when all the slides are in, he doesn't even like it in the back, so he sits up in the front. So as I'm walking around through this very tight space trying to check everything, he's in the way. So I'm crawling on top of him, trying to get past him to go look at something. So this time, the only thing that had happened was I had a box of tea bags fall off of where, and it rides there all the time. I don't know why it fell, but you know, that's the way things go. So it fell off the top of the cabinet. So there was about 50 tea bags on the floor back there. I think I got them all picked up and put away. Found a different spot for them. And a box of Kleenex. So that's not too bad for the first little bit, considering we haven't had a road trip in a long, long time. So, did you guys get out of trouble while I was gone? Somehow I doubt that. Oh, let me go back a little bit. I've been chatting so much. I haven't been reading the. Oh, man. Okay. I fiddled and fiddled and fiddled with the camera, as you guys saw. And there was no way for me to get it turned sideways so you have a better view. It kept trying to focus on the little doohickey that it's stuck to the window with. So after we are done and set for the day, me and Mister will play around with it and see if we can't figure out a better way to angle it. So I got the camera turned sideways. Dana gave me some ideas, and Mister is pretty ingenious when it comes with that kind of stuff. So he'll figure it out. I'm just reading through the comments. Oh, Terry, you asked when we're coming through Utah. In theory, and these are just rough estimates, today is here still in Texas. Either tonight or tomorrow morning we'll be in Albuquerque. What is tomorrow? Tuesday. So probably Wednesday, I'm thinking. Probably hit Utah by Wednesday, you think? Yeah, so we'll probably be in Utah by Wednesday. Cheryl, writing the patterns. Yeah, you two are a team. You're going to be Thank you so much, Cheryl, for subbing to Spring. It's really awesome when you guys sub to each other and when we meet each other on these lives. That's such a great way to get out there and connect with someone that you may never have connected with before. Okay, so the diesel was $4.99 there, which wasn't half bad for a tourist town. To be honest about it, that's not far from the prices that I would normally expect as we're out driving around. Maybe 50 cents, 25 cents, 50 cents a gallon more. But when we came down and, freeway prices and tourist town prices, last year we were in Yellowstone and we paid $5.75 for fuel in Yellowstone in their little tourist town last year. And because I can remember calling some friends that were coming up to meet us and told them, you guys need to fuel up in the city before you get here because the gas jumped $1 a gallon. So $4.99, while yes, it's horrific. What did I say? Yellowstone, Yosemite. You're right, Yosemite, not Yellowstone. No, not Yosemite. Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon. It was Grand Canyon. They met us in Grand Canyon, and that's when the prices, everything there, the prices were ridiculously, horrifically high. But they got you because there's nowhere else near there to do anything. So just now, we filled up the RV, and you know how the little thing clicks off when you get to a certain point. It got to 100 gallons and it clicked off. $100 when it clicked off. So 20 gallons, and we did it 1, 2, and on the third time it clicked off at $98. So we put $298.37 in the tank. High of 60 gallons. Now that was lower than we normally do. So in my little head, when we're driving, I always assume that it's going to be about $150 a day while we're driving around. So this time could end up being about $200 a day as we're driving around. The first time we took a trip in one of these things in our RV, and it was a long trip like this, we had done a lot of short trips just across the state or to go camping over to a lake or something like that. And yeah, it's $50 or $100 for the trip, and you kind of work that into the cost. But the first time we went across country and we were traveling kind of hard trying to get somewhere, probably Texas, I'm like, I didn't budget this much for fuel. We can't. And Mister's like, that's how much it costs. And if we want to get somewhere, we got to buy the fuel. So I don't really care what your budget says. This is how much it costs. So it was really hard for me the first time that we went across country, and it cost $1,000 for fuel. But then you got to remember, you're not paying for a hotel, you're not paying for food, you're not paying for any of that kind of stuff. And but talk about sticker shock. And now after 4 years of it, it's still not, I can't say I'm used to it, but it doesn't hurt as bad when I see it. It's like, okay, I know it's going to be $150. I know it's going to be $150 or $200. So that's probably one of the things that's a little tough to get used to.
6 miles.
Yeah, 6 miles to the gallon is what our baby gets. Our other one got a little better fuel. I think it got upwards of 10 sometimes. And like I said, it had a way better engine. We never had the problems where the engine got too hot doing these little hills. But the amount of money that we spent on repairs on that thing, oh my God, literally over $50,000 in repairs in a 2-year period of time. So I'd rather spend more money on fuel and not have to be broke down on the side of the road every other day, waiting for that great big tow truck to come. I don't know if Dana's still with us. I'm interested to know how does your baby do for fuel mileage compared to what ours does. This is our fourth RV since our very first one. It was so funny. I had never RV'd before. And so it was Mister's idea. We're going to go RV. And I'm like, no, that is not something I'm interested in doing. I don't camp. I'm not doing this. I had a bad camping experience when my kids were little, and I just wasn't interested. And he's like, it's completely different from camping. So as usual, he convinced me to give it a try. And he found, actually, I found it. Somebody at my work had this old, what was it, 35-year-old, 45? It was a 1982 Winnebago. It was 36, 32 feet long, something like that. 32 feet long, had no slides, and we picked that thing up for like $2,000. It was sitting in a field for a couple of years, and the engine ran good. Mister checked it all over. Everything worked great. We hauled that thing home. He spent a month cleaning it up. It had mice nests in the cupboards and under the bed, and so he went through it with a fine-tooth comb, cleaned everything up. We prettied a few things up. All the systems worked, and that's what's really important. And we started camping in that thing, and I fell in love with it. And it was me and Mister, and we had our big dog then. He was over 200 pounds. My mom, her dog, and off we went to Yellowstone in that thing. And Mister had just had shoulder surgery, so he wasn't supposed to drive the RV. So I drove from Washington State over to Yellowstone, and I did really well. I was so proud of myself. You've been proud of me, Dana. Um, I can go straight. I can't drive through heavy traffic. Let's say I don't want to drive through heavy traffic and don't think I'm backing up anywhere. And I can pull in fuel if there's a lot of room. And the truck stop there in a heartbeat. Much more space, and the fuel fills up fast. It's great, and the bathrooms are always clean. So yeah, that's my hint. If you're driving an RV, go to the trucker gas pumps, but watch out for the truckers. They're working. They have to get out of there in a quick hurry, and you need to be very, very respectful of them. But don't be afraid of truck stops. I love truck stops. And of course, Mister being a truck driver, that's his first inclination, is to find a truck stop. So that was our first one. And then we got, when he finally gave up the ghost, we got a little better and a little better and a little better each time. And when we got this one, I said, this is the last one. I'm not buying another RV. And so it has all the features we thought we could ever possibly want. And it was used. It was 20 years old when we bought it. And it's been in the shop a few times, but usually it's like I said, when the awning blew off, and that's nothing to do with the RV. Or we put solar panels all across the top. Last year we wintered over in the desert, self-sustained. There was a place where we could get fresh water. Police got someone pulled over. Oh, there's a wreck down here. Oh, wow. There's a big wreck. I don't know if you can see that down off the side of the road. Looks like it caught on fire. No, he rolled it. He rolled it. Wow. So, knock on wood, this one has, oh, there's the mountains. There's the mountains up ahead of us. So we'll be backtracking through this road back to where we just got fuel, and then we'll turn and go up that hill. So it's not too much of a backtrack. Not too much about a route. No, that sounds good. That's sorry, I just got a email that I had to respond to. Oh, hey, Crafty Critter. How are you? Are you new to my channel? I don't recognize your name, but I don't always remember everybody. I apologize. We are just about to, what are we, about 30 miles outside of, yeah, about 20 miles outside of Guadalupe. We're heading into the national park there. So this is so funny. This is going to be the only national park in Texas we will have seen. I really wanted to go down to Big Bend, but it just didn't happen. It was just too far out of route, and with fuel costs and stuff. We were going to do it when I had days off a few weeks ago. Oh, look at this. We're coming up on the Texas state line. Welcome to Texas. Were we not in Texas just now? Oh, we were in New Mexico for a few minutes. Now we're back in Texas. Oh, this is the road we would have taken. So we would have come in on that road. Okay. I see. So we were in Texas, then we were in New Mexico, and now we're back in Texas. But we were supposed when we had days off last time, we had planned on going down to Big Bend, and then the people that were taking our place, they hated that job. They absolutely hated it. And so the second we got back, when Mr. picked me up from the airport, the day before, they told us, we're leaving tomorrow, we're gone. And so instead of having a couple of days, that's when we were going to come up here to see Guadalupe, and we were going to go down to Big Bend. And that was actually before we knew we were going to be going home. And so we had planned a couple of days to go see a couple of things. Well, that didn't happen because our replacement took off, and we had to start back to work. In fact, Mr. started working while I was still at my daughter's house. So poor thing, he worked all day, he worked all morning, then he had to drive, almost 100 miles each way to come and get me at the airport, and then go back and try to catch a quick nap and then work that night. What is that interesting thing? Can you see that thing over off to the left? It says CF. It's
some kind of like Carlsbad caverns.
Some big marker thing. Huh. Interesting. Some kind of art thing. Oh, I see. Craft Christina. Thank you. Well, I'm glad you caught a live. This is different from my usual lives. When I decided to do lives, I decided I want to get to know our fellow crafters. And that's why I do my lives in kind of an interview format. I'm really enjoying getting to know people better. And the feedback I'm getting from you folks is that you're really enjoying the format that I'm doing. And as long as you guys are enjoying that, and I can get people to come on and let me pick their brain, that's what we'll keep doing. So those of you that are on here now, is this something that you're enjoying? You like that kind of a format? Let me know. Tomorrow, okay, so this week obviously is way different from normally. So throughout the week here, I'm going to try and do as many lives as I can, just while we're bopping down the road and seeing the different sites. And they're all going to be, uncut and unscripted, and you get what you get. dogs barking and sirens going off and stopping for fuel. And just pop in and out as you would like to. And then tonight, and I'm going to get it wrong, I'm going to get her channel name wrong, but tonight I am a guest on AJ's personal, something at 7 o'clock Central. We're still going to be in Central tonight, right? So 7 Central. If we're in Mountain Time, it'll be 6 Mountain, which will be 5 Pacific, which will be 8 o'clock Eastern. And so I'll be a guest on her live tonight. Now, having said that, when I agreed to do that and when I set these up, I didn't know we were going to be on the road this week. All lives are dependent on the internet. We may be in a location where I don't have coverage. And if that happens, obviously we can't do a live. I'm really, really hoping that doesn't affect me being a guest on her show tonight. And I don't actually know what format her show will take. So I don't know. It'll be a surprise tonight. We might just be chatting. So I don't know. So I hope you guys will pop in tonight. And I know the link to her live is in my community page. I want to say I put it up there a day or two ago. And once we get stopped today, I'll pop it up in there again. So it's towards the top. And I'm going from memory here, but it seems to me it was blue, light blue maybe. But anyway, so I hope you guys will pop in tonight and see how that goes. And give it a quick thumbs up. Even if you can only stop in and just say hi, give it a quick thumbs up. I know those thumbs up mean so much to people, so much on those lives. And then she's a fairly new YouTuber. She's only got a couple hundred subscribers. So we're just over there giving her some Yarny love today. Oh yeah, look at all the yuccas out there. There's a ton of them. Look at this greenery. There's greenery on the side of the road. And then tomorrow we'll do, I'm not sure, I had said we would do a live in the morning as we're driving to Albuquerque, but when I said that, I forgot that I've got a scheduled live tomorrow morning with Linda Simpson. And I adore Linda Simpson. She's an amazing, fabulous knitter and crocheter. And Linda is from, I hope I don't get it wrong. I think she's from England. And so she's going to pop in and do a live. That'll be more like my normal live where it's the interview format. And hopefully she'll bring some of her beautiful makes. You guys, her work is phenomenal. She does lots of beautiful lacy knit work and socks. She's always popping socks out. She's doing a thing right now where she's doing a pair of socks a month. I'm just in awe of her. So I hope you guys will join in tomorrow and listen to that live. And so we'll play that other one by ear, the on the road live. I don't even know if I can do it without setting a time. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know enough about these lives to know how to do that. So just kind of, we're just going to be kind of loosey-goosey with the on the road lives. Maybe I can send an email to Dana later. Of course, I know she's driving today, but maybe I can pick her brain a little bit on how to do some of that kind of stuff. So next Tuesday, we should, in theory, we'll be home by next Tuesday, but I know we're going to be slammed with getting parked and getting the RV unloaded and getting things cleaned up and put away. So I'm going to say likely next Tuesday there will not be a live. If it looks like I'm going to be able to, oh, horsies, are those wild horses or do they live with somebody? Okay, because there's just a bunch of horses just wandering around out here. So we're going to play next Tuesday by ear. I'm definitely not scheduling a guest. And be able to. It'll just me get on and sit and visit for a few minutes. And that might be what I do. Just kind of sit down and catch my breath. And so we'll be home then. So it'll be 8 in the morning for us. I'll keep the same time frame. 8 in the morning would be a good time for me at home to do a live before I have to, get out and do anything. So I'll keep the same time frame. So it'll be 8.